Parliament descended into an unprecedented scene of chaos and uproar today as the tension between ruling party members and opposition lawmakers reached a boiling point. The normally disciplined chambers of the National Assembly were transformed into a battlefield of verbal sparring, pointed accusations, and impassioned demands. The catalyst for this explosive moment was none other than the outspoken Member of Parliament, Mkhwanazi, who delivered a searing call for President Cyril Ramaphosa to step down, citing what he described as unprecedented failures in leadership and systemic erosion of public trust. From the outset, Mkhwanazi's appearance in the chamber drew palpable tension. Security personnel and parliamentary officials braced themselves as murmurs and whispers swept through the assembly. Taking to the podium with an air of determination, Mkhwanazi addressed the MPs, his voice rising over the murmurs, commanding attention. "Mr. President," he began, eyes locking onto the chair where Ramaphosa was seated, "our nation cannot continue under a leadership that fails to uphold justice, equality, and accountability. It is time for you to step down for the good of our country." The chamber erupted immediately. Opposition MPs rose to their feet, cheering, clapping, and waving papers, signaling their full support. The air was thick with energy as shouts echoed, some in agreement, others in outrage. ANC MPs stood in staunch defense of their leader, voices rising in protest, accusing Mkhwanazi of theatrics and spreading misinformation. What began as a heated debate quickly escalated into shouting matches, with chairs rattling and papers flying as parliamentary rules were bent under the sheer intensity of the confrontation. Eyewitnesses described scenes of MPs pointing fingers, shouting over one another, and in some instances, nearly coming to blows. Security personnel struggled to maintain order, stepping between clashing members as the Speaker of Parliament repeatedly called for calm. Yet, the calls went largely ignored, as the intensity of the emotions in the chamber overpowered standard protocol. Even senior MPs, usually composed and strategic, were seen visibly frustrated, gesturing wildly and shouting for decorum, to little effect. Mkhwanazi, clearly unshaken, continued his address amidst the turmoil, emphasizing that his call was not political theatrics but a moral imperative. "We are accountable to the people," he said, voice steady despite the chaos around him, "and when the leadership we entrust with our nation's future falters, we must speak out. We cannot allow complacency and corruption to define our governance. The time has come for courage, for action, and for accountability." The tension in Parliament reached new heights when some MPs began physically jostling for space, trying to interrupt speeches, while others attempted to drown out arguments with chants and slogans. Video footage circulating on social media shows MPs standing on desks, waving hands, and engaging in heated debates that lasted for what felt like an eternity. The hashtag Mkhwanazi vs Ramaphosa began trending almost instantly, with citizens across the country divided between those applauding the boldness of Mkhwanazi and those condemning the chaos that ensued. Amid the chaos, Ramaphosa remained composed, standing firm but silent as the debate raged on. His aides and advisers whispered rapidly, clearly trying to manage the fallout. Analysts later noted that his silence may have been a strategic choice, aimed at projecting stability and resilience in the face of an unprecedented public demand for resignation. By the afternoon, the Speaker called for an official recess, hoping to restore order and prevent further escalation. However, the damage had already been done. The image of a parliament in disarray, with MPs clashing and voices raised in unrelenting protest, had been broadcast nationwide. The incident has sparked a broader national conversation about leadership, accountability, and the future direction of South African politics. Political commentators are already speculating on the long-term implications of Mkhwanazi's dramatic call for resignation. Some argue it could embolden other MPs to voice dissent, while others warn that it risks deepening divisions within the ruling party, potentially destabilizing governance. Regardless, today's events will be remembered as one of the most dramatic moments in recent parliamentary history, an extraordinary spectacle where politics, passion, and principle collided in a way few could have predicted. As the dust settles, the nation waits to see what the next chapter will hold. Will Ramaphosa respond directly to Mkhwanazi's demand? Will the parliamentary clashes spark deeper reforms or merely fade into political memory? One thing is certain, the storm that erupted in the National Assembly today has left an indelible mark on South Africa's political landscape, and the reverberations will be felt for months, if not years, to come.